Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, February 7th, 2017. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will focus on a 10-point developmental plan for 2017. Delivering the 2017 budget presentation in Parliament on Monday, February 6th, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, said the areas of focus are 1. Climate change, disaster preparedness and infrastructure resilience. 2. Making the Argyle International Airport work. 3. Quality teaching and science and technology, engineering, arts and mathematics. 4. Investment and productivity. 5. Roads and bridges. 6. Citizen security. 7. Education, health and wellness. 8. Housing and lands. 9. Energy. And 10. Job creation. Outlining the first priority area of climate change, the Prime Minister noted that while this country has made strides in disaster preparedness and relief, as a vulnerable nation, climate change continues to affect not only livelihood but lives.
There are sensible things which we must do more and better at home. In these respects, the matters for national focus include disaster preparedness and reconstruction as integral to all public policies and plans, the further development of NEMO and its legislative framework, intensive and extensive education on disasters, the establishment of a fund for natural disaster, specifically earmarked, which I would speak to a little later. Further and more expensive training for all personnel in the public and private sectors who are engaged in the relevant disciplines of disaster preparedness, relief, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery. Strengthening and implementing the building code and physical planning laws, building resilience in the physical infrastructure, and engaging decisively in forest protection and upgrade.
On the second area of focus, which is making the Argyle Airport work, Dr. Gonsalves said according to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, a 1.5% increase of gross domestic product is projected for the medium term, and chided persons whom he said wish to see the Argyle International Airport fail.
Unwarranted, negative and even unpatriotic statements made against the construction and the operation of the AIA by minority elements, largely stuffed with political prejudice. Even at this moment, even after it has been constructed and it's opening on the 14th of February, some of these jaundiced political elements, spurred on by the dog whistle utterances of some more supposedly respectable personalities, are willing the AIA to fail or are wishing it a tsunami of harm for no reason other than the celebrated fact that the Unity Labour Party government has accomplished a veritable miracle by turning a long-held dream of a hopeful people into an historic reality.
With the third area of 10-point developmental plan being quality teaching in science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics, the Prime Minister said while progress is being made in these areas, more must be done.
There are profound weaknesses in the teaching and learning processes of these subject areas, even though much progress has been made. And we always have to speak like this. We make progress, but we must notice where we still have to go. That's part of the development. That's what our foreparents taught us. Frankly, Mr. Speaker, not nearly enough teachers possess the requisite content proficiency and skill to teach these subjects at acceptable levels. Not nearly enough. We have several, but we need more teachers with the requisite content proficiency and skill in these areas.
And the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance noted that real economic growth is projected to be at 2.9% for this country. He said according to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, this should be the best this country has seen since the global meltdown in 2008. Outlining that there is need to continue to help generate revenue, the Finance Minister noted several taxes will be implemented as of May 1st, 2017. He stated that a disaster levy tax amounting to 1% on the value-added tax, or VAT, will increase VAT from 15 to 16%. The Prime Minister said this will eventually generate some $10 million and government will review it within 3 years.
We propose to introduce a 1% levy on consumption within the state to be used to capitalize the contingencies fund, which is being established pursuant to Section 72 of the Constitution. The most efficient way to give effect to this measure is to increase the standard rate of the VAT from 15% to 16% and the rate for accommodation and other tourism-related activities from 10% to 11%. This measure will take effect from May 1st, 2017 in order to give businesses the time necessary to make the required alterations to their systems. The revenue yield for this measure is estimated at $10 million per year, but you will see that in the estimates is just about 6.7 or thereabouts, simply because it's going to be introduced from just May 1st.
Dr. Gonsalves further announced that the Professional License Act will be more staunchly enforced, with delinquent persons facing a penalty of either a suspension or a jail term.
If the persons practicing these professions will benefit by not having to charge VAT on the services that they deliver to their clients. It is therefore reasonable, Mr. Speaker, that if the professionals don't have to pay but charge their clients VAT, and if they don't have to take the time to prepare the VAT returns, it is reasonable to ask them to finance a portion of the revenue loss from the increase in the VAT registration threshold. Accordingly, I propose to increase the fees payable under the Professions Licensing Act by a factor of 20%, as shown in the schedule at Appendix 1. I urge all professionals to pay their annual licenses in a timely manner. And I remind them that failure to pay the license fee or failure to register constitute an offense, which is punishable by a fine not exceeding 4.5 times the license fee in default and to imprisonment for 1 month.
The leader of this country further announced that the airport departure tax will be raised from 50 Eastern Caribbean dollars to $100. He said that this will facilitate in the yearly operation of the soon-to-be opened Argyle International Airport, which should cost some $20 million.
I propose to increase the airport service charge on passengers departing by aircraft from St. Vincent and Grenadines to EC $100 or 40 US dollars. This measure will be implemented from February 15, 2017, and will yield approximately $5 million per year. Even at $100 EC, the airport service charge on departing passengers would be lower than that of the overwhelming number of CARICOM member states. You know, just across the sea here, the country is 98 US. A little going up the Windward Islands is 97.50 US. I just want to put this thing in context.
Delivering his throne speech for the opening of the second session of the 10th Parliament, Governor General Sir Frederick Ballantyne outlined that this country's government, despite the challenges, continues to have energy, focus, and fortitude.
Mr. Speaker, my government has persevered in its efforts to implement its developmental agenda. The prevailing global economic conditions are generally problematic. However, my government's vision, focus, energy, and fortitude have brought us success in significant measure, and this has been to the benefit of all of our citizens and has resulted in improved material conditions and the fostering of a sense of hope and optimism among our populace.
The head of state says that the coming on stream of the Argyle International Airport must be maximized, as this demonstrates the country's enterprising spirit.
The facility is a symbol of the independence, initiative, enterprising spirit, and intrepid character of our people, and what we can achieve with the support of our friends and allies. The international airport will serve as a gateway between our tiny island state and the vast world outside our borders. The direct benefits include greater ease and comfort of international travel and quick and direct access to overseas markets for local produce. Mr. Speaker, my government is prepared to maximize the potential of the international airport and that the international airport creates for economic development, trade and investment, and in tourism and related sectors, among others.
The 2017 budget does nothing to address some of the critical areas of importance to the economy of SVG. That's according to Leader of the Opposition, the New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, in his rebuttal to the 2017 budget presentation in Parliament today. Dr. Friday stated that the budget presentation should not only give a report on the economy, but must set out what the government intends to do about areas such as growth and job creation, and added that the budget this year has become thematic ad hoc. The opposition leader stated that whilst it does address some important areas, critical areas such as the Bukamet Bay Resort, the ongoing row at the marina at Otley Hall, and the issues at Kanawan were not addressed, and thus, in his opinion, the 2017 budget only serves to add more taxes upon the peoples of SVG.
What is clear in this budget, however, is that it is taxing people more through the VAT and through the 2% levy. That is transparently clear. There's no doubt about that. I don't support, Mr. Speaker, the budget for those reasons. Yes, I like the styrofoam. Mr. Speaker, the government owes it to people when you come to bring a budget to this House. It happens once a year. People listen, if it's one of the few times they listen to Parliament. They owe it to the people to say, this is how we know what your circumstances are. We know the difficulties you are having, whichever area of the economy you are in. And this is what we want to do to assist you.
Is there anything good in it?
This is what a budget is supposed to do, Mr. Speaker.
Anything good in it?
And this budget has failed to do that.
Speaking on the Argyle International Airport, Dr. Friday noted that transparency and accountability are of key importance and called on the government to disclose a full and comprehensive report on the project.
We deplore the expenditure of hundreds of millions of dollars in public funds without proper accountability, and that is yet to come. We must have that. Because if we are asking people to pay in additional taxes to finance the ongoing work, we are told that it will cost $20 million to operate the airport annually, which is $13 million more than it costs to operate E.T. Joshua Airport. That money has to come from somewhere. So if taxpayers have to put money into it, Mr. Speaker, they deserve a proper accounting of the finances. We therefore call for a full and comprehensive report on the status of the construction, financing, certification, and prospective sustainable operation of the Argyle International Airport, including but not limited to the audited financial statements from 2008 to the present. I don't think that is too much to ask, Mr. Speaker.
The opposition leader added that he is in full support of the Argyle International Airport, but recognizes the potential for harm it can have on the economy if it fails.
We are going to, Mr. Speaker, have to be paying a high price for it and still have to be questioning the returns. Mr. Speaker, I wish the Argyle International Airport well. I really do. Because, as I said earlier on, failure is not an option. You have an airport in St. Helena, you had one in Hambantota in Sri Lanka, you have had airports in various areas that have failed. But these are not singular projects that could ruin the economy of a country. This one has that potential, which is why I don't want to see it happen, Mr. Speaker. As a patriotic Vincentian, as somebody who loves my country, I want to see good for my country.
Several preparatory exercises are underway here for the official opening of the Argyle International Airport. Earlier today, a second course of tests on all systems, including at the domestic terminal, was carried out. The exercise saw aviation officials conducting a drill for the departure and arrival process at the air facility. SVG-TV's Nikita Tony was there and filed this report.
Just a week remaining before the commencement of operations here at the Argyle International Airport, officials from the Ministry of National Security, Air and Seaport Development coordinated a second round of tests on the systems here at the air facility, pointing out that today's event is a follow-up to a stimulation exercise done 2 weeks ago at the AIA to test the check-in, security, immigration and customs systems. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Air and Seaport Development, Godfred Pompey, says the exercise will aid in assessing the readiness of all systems at the air facility for opening day.
Liat, everybody doing a checking in. Then we have security, the first point of checks. Then you go through immigration. Then you have the screening by the security again. And then you wait in the boarding area, and then an announcement will be made, following which you'll move towards the aircraft. But today no aircraft will be around. So then we're doing the reverse. Assuming that you would have landed, the passengers will go through immigration and then customs. So that's the process, and that's what we are testing this morning. We are excited about Tuesday, and quite certain that all will be well.
Director of the airports, Carsell Robinson, says while the prior exercise had been successful, the second round of tests done today will facilitate for the smooth transition into operations at the AIA.
Of course, we would like the transition to be seamless and without any negative events. So these tests are to identify any potential problems, any snags, any area that we need to address in preparation for the 14th. Once we go through that process, we have observers who would identify any problem and in the various sections that we go through, and if and when they are identified, then measures will be taken to have them corrected, so that on the 14th when you come here it will be seamless and enjoyable.
Robertson further expressed her elation about the movement towards operation at the AIA, noting that the air facility has come at a time when there was a growing need to modernize the country's aviation facilities.
We have operated from it to Joshua. It has served us well for over 50 years, but it had outgrown its usefulness in context of modern aviation. And it is a great pleasure to see that we can finally move forward into the 21st century and get an airport that has many more of the facilities we need to use rather than the one that we have before. So I look forward to this moment with joy, and I know many Vincentians are sharing my joy even today.
Today's event follows on the heels of the testing of lights and systems at the control tower last Thursday, February 2nd, and a full emergency exercise held last Saturday, February 4th. On February 11th or 12th, officials from the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, ECA, will inspect a hangar belonging to the Mustique Airways. We have successfully made it through the departure and arrival process here at the AIA. Come Tuesday, February 14, 2017, Vincentians are being urged to come out and celebrate this huge milestone as the dream of the Argyle International Airport is now a reality. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And Governor General Sir Frederick Valentine has declared Tuesday, the 14th February, a public holiday here. An official proclamation was gazetted on the 20th January 2017 under the Public Holidays Act, Caption 274 of the revised laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines of 2009, which provides that the Governor General can act in accordance with the Prime Minister to declare any day a public holiday. On this day, thousands are expected to flock at the site of the Argyle International Airport to witness the opening proceedings, including the much-anticipated landing of several international charter flights. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is assuring the general public that there is no truth of social media reports which suggest that there are contaminated paracetamol tablets in circulation here. According to Communications Officer Nika Anderson Isaacs, the ministry and in particular the drug inspector categorically deny this claim as there is no evidence to support such. The ministry further advises that it remains safe to use paracetamol tablets. Vincentians are being further encouraged to adopt healthy eating habits and practices as a way of reducing the chance of developing cancer. The encouragement came from local coordinator of non-communicable diseases, Sister Beverly Liverpool, as she spoke at the Kingstown Clinic as part of the Ministry of Health's public education drive on issues relating to cancer's risk factors and preventative measures. Liverpool noted that poor eating habits increases one's risk of developing various forms of cancer, and encouraged greater consumption of fruits and vegetables, which are known for significantly lowering one's risks of developing the disease.
Have to push for the fruits and the vegetables, more of that. If you use more of that, you get rid of the bulk. Things like stool and so on stick up all in the intestines, and the flour and the white flour there padded, making you become so bulky, and eventually that stays there, and colon cancer after a while with all the fat and so in the belly, you're putting yourself in trouble there. But when you use the vegetables, that helps to push out the stool. So by the time you eat one meal here and you use your carrots and your little beans and your cucumber and so forth, you will have a bowel movement before the day is out, and that is what you want. Get the stool out. Once you have that padded in your belly and all that fat, you're putting yourself at risk. You understand? So being fat and being chubby isn't really sexy. You know, to say, oh, I have a big belly, I like that, big belly man. No, that's nothing nice about that. You're putting yourself at risk for trouble.
Liverpool also called on the public, particularly the elderly, to incorporate exercise along with healthy eating habits to further lower their risk of developing cancer.
Do a little exercise. Person sitting here with me, they may tell me, oh, no, I'm old, I can't exercise. But even in your little bedroom, even in the porch, coming out and doing a little walk. For 10 minutes, you do a little walk up and down. You go in your garden, you bend down and you do a little gardening. You just try to get a sweat. You understand me? For your age. I'm not telling you if you're in your 60s and your 70s to jump up and down and prance like you're just 12. You can't do it like that, you know? But you will go to your limit. You have to push yourself to your limit. You can't watch the other person and say, oh, Miss John doing that or Miss James doing that, and I could jump like Miss James. You may not be able to jump as high as Miss James, but whatever you can do in your little space, you do it. Whatever you can do. Don't just sit there when the day come and say, oh, I'm old and I have put aside and so forth. God gave you, you can walk and you can balance yourself.
Staff nurse attached to the Kingstown Clinic, Sue Ann Moore, noted that cancer treatment is very expensive and that preventative measures are of critical importance to the fight against the disease. Staff nurse Moore called on Vincentians to take a proactive approach in ensuring that the food they eat is healthy.
We are encouraging you to plant your own. You know how you plant it, you know how it grows. With your local manure, your chicken poo, your rabbit poo, you use this as your manure, you go back to natural and normal. We are Vincentian, and I like to say too, we can't afford a lot of these things. Look at when cancer treatment is very expensive, and most of the time we have to go somewhere to seek other treatment. If we only try to be simple and we would say, oh, why this and why that, we should have everything available to us. We will. But for now, we have to use prevention, and that is what we are speaking this morning.
A public consultation will be held here tomorrow to discuss the Integrated Resource Plan, or the IRP, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. An IRP is a utility plan for meeting present and future electricity demands in the most efficient and economical manner. The government, along with the St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited (VINLEC), have collaborated with the Rocky Mountain Institute Carbon War Room, or the RMI-CWR, and the Clinton Climate Initiative, or CCI, to implement the Integrated Resource Plan (IRP) project. An agreement to implement the project was signed in October of 2016 by Vinlex CEO Thornley Myers, Director of Island Energy Program (MRMI CWR) Mr. Justin Locke, and Director of the Energy Unit Ellsworth Dakin. Among the activities to be carried out in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are data collection, data analysis, forecasting for electricity demand, examination of resources, cost-benefit analyses, and selection of an optimal model, among others. Wednesday's public consultation will provide an opportunity for information exchange between key public stakeholders and the project team. The consultation will take place at the French's House from 1:30 p.m. The 2017 PRISPAF Schools Performing Arts Festival was launched earlier today at the Kingstown Preparatory School. At the launching ceremony, Chief Cultural Officer Anthony Tybalt spoke of the competition's importance to the identification of raw talent and ways in which the country's educators can help nurture such talents. Nolisha Miller has more in this report.
At identifying and building the foundation on performing arts in SVG, the 2017 Primary Schools Performing Arts Festival PRISPAF commenced today on a sound footing. The ceremony took place at the Kingston Preparatory School and featured a special performance by some of the students. Expressing his elation with the program's development, Chief Cultural Officer Anthony Tybalt made mention of the importance of the performing arts to the nation's development.
It is a long and tiring journey for the adjudicators, but they enjoy all of the presentations that they receive from the various schools, and the ministry is very happy to be presenting this program and working with the sponsors ECGC, especially Juicy, and making this effort to look at the talent of our primary school children.
Urging the students of the KPS and all other participating students to take the competition seriously, ECGC representative Lon Holder said it is an avenue for students to showcase their talent and diversity.
You're starting here very small this morning as part of PRISPAF. Whatever you do, it might be a dance, it might be singing, it might be choral speech, but you're starting very small. So I encourage you, from this small start that you're getting, to think big. Look at it very wide. See how far your small activity that you might be doing here this morning can take you and make you a better person, can help you to grow and develop and earn a living from it.
A number of students made presentations at the launching ceremony in different formats of the performing arts. And according to the Ministry of Culture, the festival, which has been in existence for over 10 years now, will see the participation of some 56 schools this year and is expected to culminate with 2 days of showcase on the 16th and 17th of March. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.